You've seen him before, the man with a faint smile while his soul quietly bleeds. Not a soldier in the middle of a battlefield. Not a tragic hero dying in some epic drama. No, he's right there in plain sight. Carrying grocery bags. Fixing the Wi-Fi. Nodding politely while a woman disrespects him in his own home. He thinks he's being patient. He thinks he's being the bigger man. The man she said she wanted. But he doesn't see it, he's disappearing, piece by piece. Not in a violent instant but in small, silent doses. The most brutal part? He signed up for it. And here's the question most men are terrified to even whisper. Why do women never seem to truly want the things they say they want? She says she wants a good man, yet runs after the one who barely notices her. She says she values deep communication, then drifts away the moment you open your heart. She says she's looking for safety, but flirts with chaos like it's oxygen. Philosopher Arthur Schopenhauer didn't see this as some accidental irony. He saw it as nature's ruthless design. Here's the red pill most men choke on: she isn't lying to you. She isn't evil. She isn't even consciously manipulative. She's divided. Her words belong to society, but her desire belongs to nature. And nature couldn't care less how kind, gentle, or good you are. Nature doesn't care that you stood by her through her darkest nights. Nature doesn't care that you sacrificed your dream to help her chase hers. Nature cares about one thing: who can survive? Who can lead, not please? Who can stay rooted while the world and she test him over and over? This is the story of the slow death of the modern man and Schopenhauer's warning that might just bring him back to life. Men are taught to take her words literally. She says she wants kindness, so you become kinder. She says she wants emotional openness, so you bare your soul like a diary without a lock. She says, "I'm not like other women," and you believe her. But Schopenhauer knew something modern men have forgotten: what a woman says and what she responds to are two different languages. And it's not deception. It's biology. Biology speaks in instincts, not logic. A woman can mean it when she says, "I want a sweet, dependable man." Yet that same night, she's texting the guy who disappeared for 3 days. She can tell her friends she's ready to settle down. Yet her body gravitates toward the unpredictable man who refuses to bend to her rules. Why? Because her social self was shaped by a lifetime of movies, books, therapy talk, and polite ideals. But her primal self was forged over millions of years of evolution. And that primal self isn't looking for soft. It's looking for strength, for grounded dominance, for unshakable presence. That's why Schopenhauer called love, especially female love, a deception of nature for the continuation of the species. He saw through the illusion. Romance, he said, is often just biology in disguise, wrapped in pretty words. When she says, "I want a man who listens," she doesn't mean, talk more and share every thought. She means, be the man who hears everything but never loses his center. When she says, "I want emotional vulnerability," she doesn't mean, give me constant access to your fears and insecurities. She means, show me your depth but don't drown in it. Here's the trap most men fall into: they take her words like a manual. They think, if I follow her instructions, I'll be loved forever. Wrong. She's not giving you instructions, she's voicing her own confusion. Because even she doesn't fully understand what pulls her in. Her biology bypasses her intellect. It doesn't care how many "good morning" texts you send. It doesn't care how many times you rearranged your life for her. It asks one simple question: is this man solid in himself? Or does he bend for my approval? And the moment she senses that your identity depends on her validation, her body recoils. Not because she's cruel, but because, in her survival wiring, dependence equals danger. So if you've ever wondered why she lost interest right after you gave her everything, the answer is brutally simple: you gave too much. You erased yourself. You became a mirror reflecting her, but no longer a man she could admire. At first, she may have loved that reflection. But over time, she realized she was just looking at herself and felt nothing. Here's the paradox: the more you try to become the man she says she wants, the less you remain the man her instincts are drawn to. You thought devotion would deepen her love. You remembered every detail she ever mentioned. You canceled your plans to always be there for her. You became the man who never said no, and for a while, it seemed to work. She thanked you. She smiled at your effort. She even said, "I've never met a man like you." But slowly, the spark faded. She stopped laughing at your jokes. Her texts grew colder. Until one day, she was gone. Leaving you hurt, confused, and convinced something must be wrong with you. But Schopenhauer would have told you exactly what happened. Women, driven by nature's instincts, do not choose based on fairness or kindness. They choose based on what moves them, what stirs their biology. And here's the cold truth: the very devotion you thought would secure her love smothered the fire. You gave her everything too easily. No challenge. No edge. No mystery. Just comfort. Predictability. Safety. And while she might say she values those things, her nervous system didn't light up with desire. It sank into boredom. She didn't leave because you were bad. She left because you were too safe. Schopenhauer once wrote, "Men are by nature more capable of objectivity, women act more as the instruments of the species." It sounds harsh until you realize what it means. Women are nature's gatekeepers. They aren't designed to prize convenience. They're wired to test, to challenge, to filter for strength. So when you orbit around her every mood, when you adjust yourself to keep her happy, when you trade your edge for comfort, you stop being the man she first respected. Devotion without boundaries feels like desperation. And nothing kills attraction faster than a man who looks lost in her shadow. You think she's pulling away because you're not doing enough. But she's pulling away because she already has you, and the man she admired before she had you was whole, self-directed, and unshaken. When you traded that for approval, you didn't become more lovable. You became forgettable. And here's the deepest tragedy: you thought this was maturity. You thought this was love. But really, you were just making yourself easier to leave. Because inside every woman, there are two women. Most men only ever meet the first. Inside every woman, there are two forces, two selves pulling her in different directions. One is the social woman, the other is the primal woman. Both are real, both are sincere, and both influence her choices. But they speak different languages, and they do not always agree. The social woman is shaped by culture. She has been influenced by decades of media, education, and social norms. This is the woman who talks about fairness, kindness, equality, and emotional openness. She says she wants stability, a man who will never hurt her, a partner who will share feelings and communicate endlessly. She believes it, and when she speaks it, she means it. In the social woman's mind, love is a safe, predictable contract where two people meet each other halfway, respect each other fully, and stay loyal for life. But the primal woman does not speak in words, she speaks in instincts. She was forged over millions of years of evolution, in a world where survival was never guaranteed. This is the part of her that is drawn to strength, confidence, and leadership, the part that responds to emotional gravity more than emotional softness. The primal woman doesn't care about halfway or fair. She doesn't think in terms of comfort, she thinks in terms of safety, and safety in her instinctive mind isn't comfort, it's being with someone who can lead through uncertainty without collapsing. This primal self doesn't make moral judgments about who is good or bad. She isn't interested in politeness for politeness' sake. She is drawn to presence, to dominance tempered with control, to a man who has his own direction regardless of her mood or approval. Her attraction is triggered not by convenience but by a sense of inevitability, the feeling that this man could guide her through danger, not just bring her flowers when things are calm. The mistake most men make is appealing only to the social woman. They listen to her words, they tailor themselves to match her spoken ideals, and they build their behavior around keeping her happy. In doing so, they win the approval of her social self, but they starve her primal self. And when the primal self is left unfed, attraction fades. This is why a man can be everything she says she wants and still watch her interest vanish. It's not because she lied, it's because the two women inside her do not always want the same thing. Her social self may appreciate his kindness, but her primal self may quietly register that he has lost the very edge that once drew her in. And over time, nature always sides with the primal self, because in the silent war between culture and biology, biology has been winning for millions of years. The greatest frustration men face in relationships often comes down to this: she says one thing, then does another. She declares she wants stability, yet is drawn to the man who keeps her guessing. She insists she's tired of heartbreak, yet invests her time in someone who never promises her anything. To the man who listens only to her words, this feels like dishonesty. But to Schopenhauer, it's not dishonesty at all, it's the clash of her two selves. Her social self tells her what she believes she should want. She lists traits like loyalty, emotional availability, and predictability because these are the values endorsed by her friends, her family, and her culture. She can picture herself with that man in theory, living a safe and balanced life. This is why, in conversation, she can say with complete sincerity, "I want a man who will always be there for me." But when choice moves from theory to reality, her primal self steps in. The primal self doesn't care about ideals, it cares about survival and genetic advantage. This side of her is drawn to confidence, emotional control, and the ability to lead, qualities that often come wrapped in men who are less predictable, less compliant, and less easily swayed. This is why she might genuinely believe she's done with bad boys, yet end up dating another one. Why she might publicly praise the virtues of kindness, yet privately feel a rush of attraction towards someone who challenges her. To her social self, this might even feel like self-betrayal, but to her primal self, it feels like safety disguised as excitement. Schopenhauer's point was that these contradictions are not accidental. They are nature's way of filtering for strength, even when strength is inconvenient or socially frowned upon. Her biology has no interest in making logical sense, it only serves its own purpose, ensuring that she bonds with a man whose presence can weather her storms. So when her actions contradict her words, it's not manipulation. It's nature's programming overriding culture's script. And for men, this is where the danger lies, because if you build your entire identity around her spoken desires, you are serving only half of her. And the half you are ignoring is the half that decides whether she stays or leaves.